So, I spent the last 4 years building everything around a job title. I did the overtime, dealt with the office politics, and just did my work. Then, on a random Tuesday, I got a calendar invite for a 50-minute meeting. No context, no heads up, just a block on my schedule. And I think most people know that feeling in their gut when that invite pops up. You just know the ground is about to move. By the time the Zoom call was over, I was already locked out of everything. And it was just a weird kind of horror story. One minute you're part of the team, and the next you're just a ghost. You don't get to say goodbye to your work friends or even grab your files. You just stop existing in that space. If you've been through it, you know it's not even just about the paycheck. It's like cold realization of how replaceable you actually are. You're a person 1 minute and a deactivated user ID the next. The weeks after that are just strange. You have this phantom routine where you wake up at your usual time because, well, your brain is still wired to be productive. And you end up checking your phone for notifications, but there's nothing there. No pings, no emails, no deadlines. That silence is honestly the hardest part, and it takes a bit used to getting to your routine again, knowing that like work's not a part of it. And I spent a lot of time just sitting there, wondering who I was supposed to be, whatever my title was. And the thing is, we spend so much time building our identities around what we do for a living that when the job goes away, it kind of feels like we went away too. And it's pretty dehumanizing, to say the least. It makes you look back on all those late nights and wonder what it was actually for. Was it for nothing? I have to like restart my career all over again, I'm just, my mind's in a haze. And I think it's worth talking more about that. Not exactly how to get a new job, but just how to stay sane when you feel like you've been erased. But then again, this isn't just about work. Being lost happens in a lot of ways. While the corporate stuff is its own nightmare, we have to focus on the bigger things, which is just life in general. And it has a way of throwing horror stories at people when they're already down. So, this is what this channel's for, I guess. I want to start sharing more than just the workplace stuff. I want to share stuff about life. There's so many entertaining horror stories in life that have nothing to do with the 9 to 5, just, weird encounters, social disasters, and those moments where things feel like a fever dream. We focus so much on careers that I guess we forget how chaotic just existing can be. We gotta live in the moment, but it's just so chaotic. We just think about like what happens next in the future. And it shouldn't be that way. So I want to have a place where we can just laugh at how ridiculous it all is, even when things are heavy. Sometimes the only way to get through a bad situation is to realize how absurd it actually is. Life is messy, and honestly, the stories that come out of that mess are usually the ones we're telling. So if you're watching this and you're in a headspace where everything feels a bit much, you're definitely not the only one. You aren't behind in life. You aren't a failure because some company decided to save a few bucks. Believe me, I'm still trying to learn that, and I'm still trying to, tell myself that. And I also want to tell you guys that because things in life just take a weird turn. So I'm going to be sharing more here, ranging from anything. So the corporate stuff, or stories from life, or whatever else comes up. And you guys tell me in the comments too. So if you have a story about a time you felt completely lost or just an event that felt like a bad movie, tell me. It's nice to know we're not just shouting into a void. But anyway, these are just my thoughts. Maybe you might make something of it, but I don't know. But anyway, just take a breath. We're still here. I'm still trying to take my own advice because this is all fresh to me. And I guess that's enough for today. So we're the lost ones, and I'll talk to you in the next one.